Children deserve better. A safe and caring environment is a critical part of the foundation of their growth. Children need safe environments in order to benefit from all the opportunities in education, health services, nutrition, and livelihood in our country.
Nelson Mandela once said, "Each of us as citizens has a role to play in creating a better world for our children." Indeed, working with and for the children represents the core business of World Vision for a brighter future. A sustainable future where humanity thrive starts with the creation of a better world for our children. World Vision and its global partners has been strengthening interventions towards improving the quality of life for children, empower communities to protect children, and actively play a role in safeguarding the rights of children. The organization strives to mobilize communities with support from its partners to continue advocacy and improvement of children's life through a rights-based approach and inclusive programming that leaves no child behind. Our advocacy has created an enabling environment where children's rights are fulfilled and their access to critical services, including sexual and reproductive health services, improved.
Violence affects more than 1 billion children every year in every country and every community. It robs children of their dignity, their rights, their God-given potential, their future.
There are two most important developments that the organization is currently celebrating. That is the development of the Child Rights Barometer for Southern Africa in the World Vision is a partner, and the launch of the It Takes a World to End Violence Against Children campaign.
The barometer is quite important because, one, it's going to provide evidence and data that is required to see where governments are in terms of the performance on child's rights implementation. And so it's going to also provide information for civil society to be able to improve policies that relate to the fulfillment of the rights of the children. It will also help donors to be able to look at which areas can they invest more so that we get the children protected, restored, and get the fulfillment that they require according to the UNHCR and also the African Charter on the Rights of the Child.
This barometer will be of great essence in terms of as we're engaging them, as we're lobbying them, to provide them with evidence that is very calling in terms for them of them to come in the open and challenge the problems that children are facing on the ground. Furthermore, it's of a great essence because sometimes we speak, and as we speak as advocates or child rights champions, it doesn't really carry the weight that it deserves because we just speak from the blues. Therefore, this kind of barometer will be a pool of information, evidence that will be able to help us justify the problem on the ground, thereby engaging the needed political will to influence policy decisions as well as financing for child rights promotion in the region.
All the governments of SADC have ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, which is a plus, and all of them have ratified the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, which is also a plus. But there's beyond ratification, there's domestication, and most governments in the region have fairly domesticated. They've come up with laws to make sure that the provisions that are in those international and regional instruments are put in local laws. Yet now is the challenge, the implementation of those laws for the children to enjoy their rights is where the challenge is. That's where now, when we collect the data that we want to do, it will show what is the disparity between what the law provides for and the reality on the ground.
World Vision is part of the experts from the Southern African region who are developing a Child Protection Index, which is comprehensive research that explores the gaps and opportunities in child protection matters, covering a broad spectrum of thematic issues including policy gaps, programming gaps, finance and administration gaps in relation to child protection. It is one regional barometer that will inform programming and strengthen community interventions.
This barometer is very important to Zimbabwe because it's going to help us to identify the challenges that children are facing on the ground. And after we have identified those challenges on the ground, we will present them to our governments and work with our governments to see how best we can advocate for policy change that will be favorable to the children's rights. In the SADC region, we are doing fairly well because we have ratified the African Charter and other international and regional instruments. We are doing well, but there can always be room for improvement because we still have challenges in some areas which I have alluded to earlier on, like birth registration, issues to do with child marriage, and right now we are seeing quite a number of challenges that we are facing with our young girls.
Bvumira zvimwe zvisungo zvinotarisa nezvevana zvepasi rose semuenzaniso United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child, imwe African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, yakatoisa runyoro rwayo kuti inobvumirana nezvirimo. Saka nguva nenguva inosungirwa kuti iende kumasangano aya, African Union, the UN, ichinotaura kuti chii chayaita maererano nekubatsira vana. Saka kana paine gwaro rakaita se-Child Rights Barometer, rinovabatsirawo kuti vaone kuti ndepapi pavanyatsogona, ndepapi pasara. Isuwo semasangano zvinotibatsira kuti tirambe tichitaurira hurumende kuti muri kuita basa rekuchengetedza vana, asi mune nzvimbo dzakati dzatinofunga kuti dai dzasimbiswa kuti vana vanyatsochengeteka zvakanaka.
As the popular adage goes, together we can. The It Takes a World to End Violence Against Children is one multi-stakeholder program that seeks to harness the fruits of working together and creating strong partnerships and apply collective efforts to address violence against children.
It can be hard to believe what happens to children, but it is imperative that we believe. It can be hard to face the reality of sexual violence against children, but it is imperative that we face it, because if we do not, we will never see it.
World Vision Zimbabwe is joining its global partners to launch this strategic campaign. We have done so much, achieved splendid results, but a lot more still needs to be done. It Takes a World to End Violence Against Children is one of the answers. Feel it, the campaign is here. Be part of it, and let's get ready for it.